Welcome to CC United's slideshow to increase positional awareness in the 11v11 game. This slideshow will not only be a part of our player evaluations for 13-year-old players and older, as on day 2 of the tryouts they'll be trying out for a specific position, but it will improve our team's effectiveness as our players have a greater understanding of each player's role in both attack and defense. This slideshow represents the zonal defensive responsibilities of the outside defender. The outside defender in right back and left back. It is hoped that through these slides players understand their positional roles, various game situations that happens, where to be, who to cover, and to improve their positioning on the field. As we show here in this one, we break the field down up into our zones. Here's our right back zone and left back zone, and all the zones are connected on the field. The outside defenders cover 2 zones, one in front, which will be the right mid zone, and one alongside of them, which will be the centre back zone when outside the penalty area, and the goalkeeper zone when the ball goes inside the penalty area. As the ball moves up the field, the right back moves up the zone. If the centre back comes out of their zone, the right back tucks into their zone. On the opposite side, if we are defending on the right side of the field, the right back will cover the right mid zone, the centre back covers the centre back zone, the centre back covers the other centre back zone, and the full back on this side gives up their zone and moves into the centre area. So on defense, the team always gives up the zone that's furthest away from the ball to remain compact. And like I said, this zone moves up and down the field. So when the ball is in the attacking third, this is now the right mid's responsibility, with the right defender following close by. So our first game situation is our positioning here. So covering our outside mid. So as you can see, the ball is here with red player, and the responsibility zonally of our left defender is to cover the outside midfielder in case the red defender was to dribble on the outside past him. The role of the right defender is to be ready for transition and getting ready for when we win the ball, and to switch the ball if we need to through our back line. So right defender is also in a position to second defend for a covering pass if they were to hit their strikers, and number 4 central defender had to go in, as we'll see in a little while. One of the other roles of our outside defenders zonally is to cover the central defender. Here we see red 13 in possession of the ball. Our centre mid is stepping, and as one link behind them, as the centre defender covers the centre midfielder and steps out to cover that zone, the right defender covers across and covers the central defender zone, leaving this wide outside zone. Tracking players, a zonal responsibility to track players in your zone. So the game situation has broke. One thing it's very important for our players to know is when to track and when to cover the zone. So as you can see, 13 has the ball. The situation on this side is 2v1, as they're not in a position to run behind is not yet dangerous. As the 10 runs past the right midfielder, the communication from the right defender will mark their player, will take on their player, so 7, our right midfielder, can stay out. As the ball gets passed centrally into 17, the striker, our right defender's responsibility now lies in covering the centre defender, as our centre defender will potentially step out and pressure the ball because the ball is now in the central defensive zone, and the right defender will tuck in behind and provide cover, leaving 10. So another thing is recognizing when to step, visual cues on when to move. So as you can see now, the ball is with our right defender, but our present time our ball is with our right midfielder defending. Our right defender is staying at home, staying level with the back line. And they are playing three strikers in this situation. But the right midfielder, the position in which they're defending, is forcing the play inside, making it the responsibility of our centre mid to come and defend and not our right defender. So our centre mid comes across. If our right midfielder was to defend on the other side of the ball, forcing the play outside, our right defender will step up as shown here. Our right defender has actually left 10, which was the player who was marking, because his responsibility is to cover the zone and not the player. And that's one of the key points of zonal defending, in that we recognize that right mid is channeling out, right D steps in, center D will take player, and because they're playing three strikers, left defender will get across and make the extra player at the back. As you can see, the ball is played into their striker, and 5, our central defender, wins the ball and breaks out, leaving us obviously with numbers 2 against 3 down. So therefore our right defender just sits in and covers that central zone. So in summary, the role of the outside defender at CC United is to cover that outside midfielder, to cover the zone that is directly behind the outside midfielder as they move up the field, to cover the zone for the central back, either when the central back transitions and wins the ball and breaks out of the back, or when the central back steps out to defend. Must recognize when the ball is coming into their zone so they can step and pressure the ball. And one of the things that they must do is recognize when to track players through the zone. The outside defender must have good communication with the outside midfielder and the central defender, letting them know that they can mark their players, so the outside midfielder is free to step up higher and defend further up the field. As we talked about with the visual cues of the outside midfielder, so the outside defender is watching how the outside midfielder defends, and if the outside midfielder channels the play outside, then that's the visual cue for the outside defender to step up. And one important thing is to cover the zone, not the player. So staying connected with the outside midfielder and moving up the field with them when they get channeled to go cover the outside midfielder, regardless of if they have another player in the zone. So that covers that connection of when to step also.